Fluffy, golden, and irresistibly soft. Every bite of cake feels like a masterpiece. But have you ever thought about how these delicious treats are made on a massive scale? Not just one or two, but millions produced every single day. It's not a baker in a cozy kitchen. It's a high-tech world of gigantic mixers, conveyor belts moving at lightning speed, and machines that work with insane precision. From raw ingredients to perfectly decorated cakes, it all happens in a way that seems almost magical. But behind the magic is a process so fast, so efficient, and so mind-blowing that it will completely change the way you look at your favorite dessert. Let's step inside a cake factory and see how it all happens. 1. The secret behind perfect cake batter. Ever wondered how every cake in the store tastes exactly the same? Fluffy, moist, and just the right amount of sweet. It all starts with the batter, and in cake factories, making the perfect batter isn't just mixing ingredients. It's a science. First, massive machines carefully measure flour, sugar, eggs, butter, and other ingredients. There's no guesswork here. Everything is measured to the exact gram using high-tech sensors. One small mistake, and thousands of cakes could be ruined. These machines ensure that every cake has the same perfect taste and texture. Then comes the mixing process. Imagine a giant bowl, big enough to fit a bathtub, spinning and whipping the batter at high speed. The secret here is air. Factories don't just mix the ingredients. They add the perfect amount of air to make the cakes rise evenly and stay soft. Too much air, and the cake will collapse. Too little, and it will be dense and dry. But how do they make sure the batter is always right? Quality control experts take random samples and run tests, checking texture, consistency, and even temperature. If something is even slightly off, the entire batch gets stopped. 2. The high-speed cake molding and baking process. Now that the batter is ready, it's time to turn it into actual cakes. But in a cake factory, this doesn't happen with spoons and baking pans. It happens at lightning speed with machines that work non-stop, 24/7. First, the batter is pumped through pipes and poured into cake molds moving on a long conveyor belt. These molds come in different shapes and sizes depending on the type of cake. But here's the crazy part. Machines don't just randomly fill them up. Each mold gets the exact same amount of batter, down to the last drop. How? With special nozzles that stop and start with insane accuracy. If even one mold gets too much or too little batter, the cake won't bake properly. Now it's baking time. The conveyor belt moves the filled molds straight into a gigantic industrial oven, one that can bake thousands of cakes at the same time. These ovens aren't like the ones at home. They use special technology to keep the temperature even, so every cake bakes perfectly, without burning or staying raw in the middle. 3. The race against time, cooling and demolding cakes. The cakes are now hot, golden, and fresh out of the oven. But here's the problem. They can't be packaged like this. If cakes are too hot, they'll become soggy, melt the frosting, or even grow bacteria. Factories can't wait hours for them to cool naturally, so they use incredible tricks to cool down thousands of cakes in just minutes. First, the cakes leave the oven and enter a special cooling system. One of the most fascinating methods is the spiral cooling conveyor, a giant, towering spiral where cakes slowly travel upward, while strong fans blow cool air on them. 4. The magic of automated decoration. Now comes the part that turns a plain cake into a masterpiece. Decoration. But here's the crazy thing. In a factory, cakes aren't decorated by hand. Instead, robotic machines handle everything with insane precision, making each cake look like it was crafted by a professional baker. First, the cakes pass through a frosting station. Here, nozzles quickly spread a smooth, even layer of icing over the entire surface. But this isn't just random squirting. Sensors scan each cake to make sure the frosting is the perfect thickness. Too much, and the cake gets messy. Too little, and it won't look or taste right. Next, if the cake needs layers, robotic arms carefully lift the cakes and stack them on top of each other with perfect alignment. Some factories even have machines that pipe cream or jam between layers with pinpoint accuracy. But the most exciting part? The decorating machines. These robots work like cake artists. They can create beautiful swirls, rosettes, and patterns using special piping nozzles. Some machines even use laser-guided sprinkles, ensuring every cake gets the right amount of toppings. If the cake needs chocolate drizzles or fruit pieces, automated dispensers place them perfectly in seconds. And what about writing names or messages on cakes? Believe it or not, some factories have machines that write with icing, just like a human hand, but way faster and without mistakes. 5. The lightning-fast packaging process. The cakes are now decorated and ready to go, but there's a problem. Cakes are soft, delicate, and easy to ruin. One wrong move and all that perfect frosting could be smeared, crushed, or destroyed. So how do factories package thousands of cakes fast without damaging them? The answer is mind-blowing precision and high-speed automation. First, the cakes move down a conveyor belt toward the automated boxing stations. But before they're packed, they go through a final quality check. High-speed cameras scan each cake in seconds, checking for any flaws, uneven frosting, missing toppings, or cracks. If a cake doesn't meet the standard, robotic arms gently remove it from the line. Next, the perfect cakes enter the packaging zone. Here's where the magic happens. Robotic arms carefully lift the cakes and place them into boxes. But these aren't just regular boxes. They're specially designed to keep cakes fresh and prevent movement. Some cakes even go through a vacuum sealing process, which locks in freshness while keeping the cake soft and moist. 6. The final journey. Shipping millions of cakes worldwide. The cakes are packed, sealed, and ready, but there's one last challenge: getting them safely to stores, bakeries, and homes around the world. Cakes are soft, fragile, and temperature sensitive, so factories use genius transportation techniques to make sure they arrive fresh and flawless. First, the packaged cakes move on to automated sorting lines. Machines scan the barcodes to determine where each cake is going, whether it's a local supermarket, a bakery in another city, or even a different country. Robotic arms then sort the cakes into the right shipping lanes in seconds. But here's where it gets really cool: temperature-controlled delivery trucks. Cakes can't be exposed to extreme heat or cold, or they'll melt or dry out. That's why factories use refrigerated trucks that keep cakes at the perfect temperature, ensuring they stay fresh during transport. Some cakes, especially those with whipped cream or chocolate, require advanced humidity control to prevent sweating or cracking. And what about long-distance shipping? Factories use shock-absorbing trays and air-cushioned packaging to prevent damage during rough travel. Some high-end cakes are even individually wrapped with nitrogen flush packaging, which removes oxygen to keep them fresh for weeks without preservatives. And that's the incredible journey of how millions of cakes are made. Next time you enjoy a slice, you'll know the amazing process behind it. If you love this video, hit the like button and subscribe for more fascinating food factory secrets. Thanks for watching.